And we're live now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my sports YouTube channel, CW Sports, where I do sports content and interviews with athletes and sports related people. And my guest here today is two-time world heavyweight champion Tim Witherspoon, who's my guest today. So, Tim, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my space. An honor and great to have you here, man. How are you?
My pleasure. It's terrible, Tim.
Yeah, terrible Tim Witherspoon. Okay, so
Yes.
let's
Thank
talk.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for accepting it. My pleasure. So anyway, let's talk about your beginnings in the sport, where you grew up, and how do you start with the sport of boxing?
Yeah, boxing wasn't in. Hey everybody, how you doing? Boxing wasn't in my on my list of sports when I was little. It was American football, baseball. I'm from South Philadelphia, not too far from where Sylvester Stallone made the movie Rocky. I'm only 10 minutes away from the Italian market in South Philly. So, and I played football, baseball, soccer, and everything before I boxed. Before I was a boxer, I played all these different sports. I never was in gangs or anything like that. I used to go to church every Sunday. Um, and it was kind of rough coming up in South Philadelphia. Never thought I was going to be a boxer, even though there was boxers around me. I got 10 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
One of my brothers, Anthony, was a light heavyweight. He had 15 straight knockouts by knockouts, 15 straight knockouts. I think it was 14 before he lost his first fight. My brother Anthony. So if you look his name up, he was boxing also. So, you know, I'm from South Philly, where Sylvester Stallone made the movie, the Rocky. I'm the real Rocky, really. Um, and yeah, I'm the. I was born and raised. My mom used to take me to the Italian market where they made the movie. I'm from South Philly, and when they say the two-time heavyweight champ from Philly, Rocky Balboa, in real life, I won it twice. So a lot of people in Philly, they some good people and stuff. Got some good athletes. There's gangs there and everything. So I played football, then I started boxing. I started boxing later. Baseball, football. I was in university playing football, and then I came home. Um, I got hurt in football, got hit in the back, and I came home. I got better. Then I heard there was some boxers going around from my neighborhood. They was going to this gym, and that's what got me started. It was sports, Not that I was a good boxer, it was a sport. And I was like, wow, I don't play football no more. I'm not gonna play baseball probably until I tried boxing. I tried boxing. It worked out pretty good.
Okay, so you're from Philadelphia, like we say, with
South Philly,
Rocky
Philadelphia.
movie, Philly, and there's a home of other world champions like Jaron Ennis, Danny Garcia, Bernard Hopkins, Matthew San Muhammad, and if you want to go all the way back, Tommy Logren, that like heavyweight.
Yes, a lot of good boxers. Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about
Michael
your
Everett.
yeah. Let's talk about your amateur career. How many fights you had as an amateur?
I only had like 6 amateur fights. I only
Oh,
had 6 amateur fights, yeah. Um, I fought them. I think I lost two or maybe one. Um, I did pretty good. I lost my first fight. Did I? I don't know. I would say five amateur fights. Then I turned pro. I did pretty good. I think I got like two knockouts. I lost to man, I should have wrote that down. No, it was really no. The people don't know the guys I lost to. Oh, I lost to Joe Frazier's son. My last fight. My
oh,
last amateur fight was with Marvis Frazier, and I lost a decision. But it was a different story when I turned pro. When I turned pro, um, I don't think they would want to fight me early in the game. You know.
okay. And let's go now. Let's talk about your pro career and let's talk about your first title shot against the Eastern assassin Larry Holmes. So, how do
Oh,
you remember that fight with Larry Holmes?
that was beautiful. I was winning fights. I was undefeated. going up the ladder like all the new coming young guys do. I was meeting people and all that, blowing up everything. So when they said you want to fight Larry Holmes, I was like, well, ain't that kind of too soon? And my trainer said, Tim, you'll whip his butt. And so I had a lot of confidence in my trainer. Said, okay, because I heard Larry Holmes, beating all these guys, and here I am. I'm undefeated, but I haven't been in the game but like 2 years. And here I am fighting one of the greatest champions during this time, And my trainer said, Tim, we're gonna whip his butt. I said, okay, because I trusted in Slim Robinson. He was my second trainer, but he knew more than a lot of those other trainers. And the one that I first started with, this guy Clarence Booker, he was a nice old man, but he wouldn't have took me to the title. So me and Slim, we worked together, pad work and everything. And Slim said, Tim, you're gonna beat him. So what a lot of boxers need to do is like when they fight somebody, you got to find out what is their favorite punch, what is their die hard, what is the thing that'll get their opponents to. If it's a right hand, if they got a good right hand, you got to practice blocking it. If they got a left hook, when you're in training, you got to practice blocking that left hook. So Larry Holmes had a good jab. Everybody know he had a good jab. So we practiced blocking his jab with about um, five different heavyweights, good heavyweights, throwing jabs at me, and I was sitting there for a month and a half, 2 months, blocking jabs, slipping. So when the fight came, it was no problem. Larry Holmes, we took his jab away. We took his jab away, so he had to, go to something else. And then that's when everything started working out pretty good. Everything was good before that, but that's what these boxers need to do. Find out what your opponent, what their assets are, like what they do good at, and practice blocking those type of punches, and that will help you out. So that's what
Okay.
happened. I lost to Larry Holmes. Um, but everybody thought I won. I thought I won.
Yeah, it was a. I don't know if it was considered a controversial decision because some people, like you say, saw you win, right?
Yes, yes. I I haven't nobody's told me that I lost. So maybe Larry Holmes fans say, oh no, Larry beat you, but I haven't heard anybody say Larry beat me in this long time. I have nobody never. They said, Jen, you beat Larry Holmes.
Okay,
And,
and you think like you deserve a rematch?
well, but at that time, Larry Holmes, he was not retiring, but he was heading in that direction, and he was just taking fights so he could stay undefeated. Stay undefeated and break Mike Rocky Marciano's record or something like that. And Don King kept giving them hard fights for some reason. Don King was giving them hard fights. Larry trying to break this record, and Don is giving them hard fights. So I think he didn't make it to break Rocky Marciano's record. Um, so who was after me? It was a couple other boxers after me. I think Mitch, not no Mitch Green didn't fight him, but David Bay. I think David Bay fought him, and he knocked David Bay out. But a couple of good heavyweights fought him while he was trying to reach Rocky Marciano record, if you understand what I'm saying. And Don was making it hard for him to get to that there Rocky Marciano's record. So it was kind of hard for Larry Holmes to get there. And I think that Michael Spink is the one. Michael Spinks is the one that stopped him from reaching that record. I think he lost to Michael Spink one time, and then I think they rematched. If you did research, I think did he come back and beat Michael Spink, or Michael beat him twice?
Spinks beat him twice, as far as I remember.
Okay, okay. Spinks beat him twice. So that really stopped Larry from being the first guy to reach Rocky Marciano record that was undefeated.
Right. And now let's go forward and let's talk about the night that you became world heavyweight champion for the first time against Greg Page in March of 1984. So how do you remember that night in that fight against Greg Page?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good fight. At the time, a lot of things was like business. Our business was really not in the right place. We was dealing with Don King, and Don. When it was all over, I'm cool with it. I'll just leave it alone. Those things happen. What happened between Don King and all the boxers and stuff like that. But I wasn't on good terms, and I don't think Greg Page was on good terms in terms of management. Could we focus? Or is our management behind us 100% while we fighting? Um, if you can understand, I I signed up. I was forced like this go with Don King, and I don't know if Greg Page was with him or not. But that caused a lot of conflict in the fight, if you understand what I'm saying. Like we fight, we're gonna fight. I don't know how much money I'm getting, or I don't know who really care about me. It was that type of fight. Um, but we were in good shape. So I fought Greg Page. I won the decision. Um, I got the title. Um, of course, Greg Page thought he won. He's a good fighter, really good fighter. God bless him. He passed away. I sparred with him several times. So I won that fight, that title. Um, you know, and things in terms of me feeling like a champion and experience the champion things, I didn't feel that. I don't know really what it feels like because I didn't get big paydays, but I did get a lot of people. Hey Tim, shake my hands, autograph signing, but being like the real feeling of heavyweight champion. I don't think I got that like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. I got a feeling being champion, but if you can understand me, I didn't. I don't think I felt like Ali and them, but I did feel something.
Okay. And how did you feel when you became a world champion for the first time in your career?
That's what I was just talking about. I mean, I felt okay, but I know there's another feeling you get. If you know that you got people behind you 100%. Um, I know the fans was behind me, but like you got your management and everything, um, and you win the fight really good. There's a different feeling you get. I didn't get that feeling. Of course, I wasn't getting the right paydays. Um, and there was a learning process because I love everybody now. I went through something. I went through something like everybody go through something. I'm not no special person, but I went through something, and this is the results. How I feel, I went through that. I was with Don King. I was with a lot of other different people. I didn't become rich, but here I am today, healthy, speaking to you on your podcast. So um, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and but like dealing with the promoters and stuff like that. Um, they didn't really care. They cared about the money. Not all of them. Not all of them. There's certain ones that cared about the money more than the boxer, and we just have to deal with what what goes on.
Okay. And then let's go back after you win that title. 5 months later, in August of that same year, you lost that title to Pickland Thomas. So how do you remember that fight with Pickland Thomas, and what do you think that happened in that night?
Okay, Pickler Thomas is a really good boxer, really clever. Had a really good jab, um, and his jab really showed up in that fight. Um, but so mentally, I wasn't really up for the fight. Because business wise, things wasn't going in the right direction in terms of business and me getting the right monies and I knew I wasn't in the place I was supposed to be. I was with Don King, but the previous people I had another team. I had, you know what I'm saying. I was with other people, and now I had to adjust to being with Don and Carl, and that kind of like bothers you too in a way. So, um, I got ready for the fight. I got ready for the fight. Let me look back. I got ready for the fight. At that time, I really didn't really care about being with Don, and I was trying to get away and try to get help. But I took the fight with Pinklin. He won a decision. It was a good fight. They gave it to him. I think that I won the fight by a couple of points, but they gave it to him. And when and like if you like arguing with the promoter, if you having like a disagreement with the promoter, I don't think that he'll be looking out for you at the end of the fight. So maybe if I would have like act like I was like together with Don. We had the let me I'm no confusion of it. When the newspapers and everybody was interviewing me, I was saying there was some negative things that was happening in my boxing career with me and Don. So, when the fight come, you don't know if he's on your side or not. You don't know if you're on your side and so Pickling won it. Pickling Thomas won it. Um, and then I won the other title too. I won that against Tony Tubbs. So I went. I'm talking about Greg. Oh, wait a minute. You was talking about Greg Page, right?
First, we talked Greg Page, and then we talked England Thomas fight.
Right. So we talked about Greg. I won that. They gave it to me. And Pickler Thomas. That's when I was arguing with Don, and it was more in favor of the Pinkman. So Pinkman won the title from me. I thought I won it. Now the next fight. And win the next fight.
Right, and you mentioned that last fight, but before that fight, you fought James Bone Crusher Smith, the first fight in 1985. So how do you remember that fight with Bone Crusher?
Okay. I think something wrong with the uh with the voice. Say that again.
If you remember that fight with Bone Crusher Smith, that first fight,
First fight with Bone Crusher Smith. Right. I
yeah,
beat
how?
him.
Okay.
Yeah, is something wrong with your because I can't hear you go. It's in and out. Something wrong with your
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me
okay. I can't hear you talk really like this.
hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay, I hear you now. I hear you.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay. I was telling you. So, how do you remember your first fight with James Smith, Bone Crusher Smith?
Okay, James Bone Crusher. So yeah, I felt really good about fighting him. I won the decision. I out hustled him. I out hustled Bone Crusher Smith. Um, we had to fight him, and it was good. He was strong, and I won that fight. Um, but the second time I fought him, we were tired of the promotions, Don King, and the things that we were going through. So, and Don didn't really care about us, me and Bone, or anybody, all the other guys. At that time, Tyson was on the scene, and Don was really interested in him. Don was really interested in Tyson, so he really didn't care too much about us guys. I know he cared about the production. He got to make sure the production and all the finances and everything are proper and right. But in terms of like me and Bone Crusher, he didn't. I don't think he really was concerned. He was concerned about who win because as long as he controlled it, um, you know, he, he's on top of things. So all the guys knew that he was trying to get Tyson on his side. I knew that he really didn't care about us. He didn't really care about us. Um, personally, maybe not with people around. He cared about certain people like me or guys that was like relate to him. That's good. Like we talk to Don sometimes. But other than that, he had to get Tyson ready. He had to try to get Tyson involved because that he was trying to get Tyson. So the second time I fought Bone Crusher, I just was fed up. My team, we were fed up because I was supposed to give Tony Tubbs, if you understand what I'm saying, I was supposed to give Tony Tubbs a rematch because I tested positive, guys. I'm sorry. It was my birthday. It was my birthday, December 27th, and the fight with Tony Tubbs was January the 15th or 16th. And so these guys was having a little party. And so they had marijuana in there. And I took a couple of drags. But I didn't know what I was thinking. Why did I do that? It was my birthday, December 27th. And I was fighting on, I think, the 15th of January for the title shot. And so I tested positive after the fight. I was like, why the hell did I do that? Tested positive. Then I had to give Tony Tubbs a rematch. Tony Tubbs was training for the fight. I beat him for the championship, and then I had to give him a rematch because I tested positive. Then he got hurt, and then I thought the fight I was in. If you understand what I'm saying right now? Okay, so Tubbs got hurt, so the fight got canceled, like delayed, and I was like, oh, I can go home for a couple of weeks, So I went home, and then they called me and said, wait a minute, you're fighting bone crusher. I said, wait a minute. I'm obligated to fight Tony Tubbs. And so they said, nah, you gotta fight Bone Crusher. But I came home and broke camp. So I went back to camp. I said, you know what? I'm just tired of this. I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of this and get out of this situation with Don and just move on to other things. So I got my team together and I said, look, I'm not in shape. I'm not in shape. Hey, just find out if there's a 3 knockdown rule. And I feel bad for Bone Crusher because he think he knocked me out. He think he knocked me down 3 times. So I, so the first round I was saying, look, I'm not going 10 rounds with Bone Crusher because I'm not in shape, and I can, you can get hurt. So I said, we might as well fight Don. I said, I'm going down in 3. True story. And I feel bad because Bone Crusher think he really hurt me. He didn't. Our plan was to go down in 3 and then get my lawyers together. I got my attorneys. I had my attorneys ready before this fight. So I went down in 3. I was happy as hell. I was happy. I said, wow, this is all over now. And I got the lawyers, I got my people. So we went on and tried to get my business together so we could fight against Don and all those things that was against me. Um, and so that was the um, and Bone Crusher. That's what I feel bad for. And I said that I did that. He was like, no, you didn't. I knocked you out. But I got like 10 other people that can tell you what we were supposed to do. Did that make sense? Did you understand
Yes,
what I said?
yes, I
Okay.
can understand.
Yeah, so I felt bad, man. And Bone Crusher think he knocked me out um in that fight, but really we gave him the championship, and that's bad. That's bad. We have to go through that, the promoter and everything. The way the fight went down. Don King, he's involved. And that's what happened. That's what happened.
Okay, and that in that second fight to Smith, you lost the world heavyweight title, and the title that you won again with Tony Tubbs. So, let's talk for a moment about your fight with Tony Tubbs. How do you remember that fight
You
with?
talking about the first fight?
Yeah, the first fight with Tubbs when you became world champion for the second time.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. Fighting Tubbs, Tony. I knew Tony because I was in training camp with him at Ali's camp up in Deer Lake, PA. So I would when I sparred with Ali, he was up there too. He was up there sparring with Ali. I got to know him real good. He was with the Muhammad Ali amateur team too. That they was running around, had fights everywhere, all over the country. Muhammad Ali had an amateur team, and Tubbs was one of the top heavyweights of his team. So when I fought him professionally, I already knew his style. He knew mine. We just had to be in shape. We just had to be in shape. So the first time I fought him, I won a decision. I won a decision. I think I definitely thought I was more aggressive than him. He's a boxer. I'm a little bit stronger than him. And it was a close fight, but I won. I won, and like I said, like I said, I was supposed to fight Tubbs, give him a rematch because I tested positive. Remember,
Yeah.
I tested positive for marijuana. And I only took a couple of drags. I'm not ashamed to talk about. I took a couple of drags, and but I failed. And I had to give Tubbs a rematch, like I said before. I took the dive because it was Bone Crusher. We took off a couple of days because Tubbs got hurt and he couldn't get ready for the fight. So we thought it wasn't going to be a fight. We thought they pushed it back. Then they called me up and said, "Hey, we got Bone Crusher. You still fight?" That's when I drew the line. I said, "All right, it's time for me to get up out of here." I still love them brothers. I love Don. I love Carl. I got my own life to live, so they did what they had to do, and I did what I had to do. But now I'm gonna go forward. I'm going forward with my life and everything like that.
Okay. And you kept fighting all the way until 2003, and you got a chance to fight in Ray Mercer back in 1996, if I'm not mistaken, Ray Mercer. So how do you remember that fight with Mercer?
Yeah, Ray was gang. He's behind me in years, like maybe a couple of years. I was fighting maybe he probably was training same time I was training as a boxer, amateur and stuff. But um, in terms of like being champion, I was there a couple of years before him with that experience and stuff like that. He was Olympics and stuff, and he had a good jab. I didn't know he had a jab. I didn't know he had a jab like that. He had a good jab, and like we practiced to block Larry Holmes' jab because Larry had a good jab, but for some reason we didn't do that with Ray. My trainers wasn't around, the real trainers that I had. My trainer Slim Robinson. Let me go back a little bit, real quick. My trainer Slim left early in my not early in my career, but when all this stuff was going on, he couldn't take it. Um, and so he left. There was a reason why Don, I think, took his money. Don wasn't paying him, so he had to pay bills. So he came to me and said, Tim, I can't do this anymore. He was crying, my trainer. He's like, tears was in. He said, look, man, I can't do this, man. He said, I got to go. Because Don wasn't paying him. We was getting paid and everything before we got with Don. So that's how Slim left, and so there was other trainers that was with Don King that I was with. So when we talked about Bone Crusher the second time, Tubbs Tubbs hurt his shoulder or something. He couldn't fight. They brought Bone Crusher in. I took the dive, and then we went on, and I went on and got lawyers and stuff to try to help me get my life together. I had talked to a law firm, and they tried to help me get my life back together because it was a rough time.
¿Qué pasó? What happened? I got it. I can hear you.
Okay. Could you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
okay. Okay. That was the phone is messed up. I
It's
mean the
okay.
phone was ringing. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, go ahead. What was we talking about?
The Ray Mercer fight.
Oh yeah, Ray Mercer was okay. Ray Mercer had a good jab. He was aggressive, um, and he was pretty tough. Ray was pretty tough. I did thought I wanted to fight. I thought I wanted to fight and stuff, but they gave it to him, and he deserved it. He worked real hard. He had a hard jab, the hardest jab that I ever went up against. Um, but I felt that my skills were a lot more better in my experience. He's been a good amateur, been around with the Olympics and all that. And I had more professional experience, I think. They gave it to him. I think it could have went either way. Um, so that's how that fight went. He's a really good boxer too. Ray's a good boxer. And he's a nice person to talk to too.
Okay. And now let's talk about the state of boxing today. So, how do you see the sport of boxing today if you're watching it?
Yeah, usually when I fight, like a lot of people know where the fight's at, but nowadays not too many people like know when the fight is going to be. Like before, it just pop up on TV, uh, everywhere. Like oh, so and so fighting. I had to find out that somebody who was that somebody fought the other like last week. They if you don't go directly to the channels that show boxing, then you're not going to really get it because You don't really see it that much. I don't really see like a big boxing match. You'll hear about it, and then you got to figure out what is it on a network or something like that. So I don't know how it is with you, but there's some fights they had to tell me about them.
Yes, I can understand.
Yeah,
So, if you have the chance to watch boxing, is there any fighter that you like to watch today?
it's a shame that I haven't been really um like we just talked about the boxing and it's to me they don't have the fights on like they used to. But when the big fight come, yeah, you got to pay and watch that. But they usually have the regular fights that come on maybe once a month or something like that. So what was you just saying?
Uh, I asked if there's any fighter that you like to watch today. Today.
Okay. Um, my mind was up on it. My mind was on it, and I was going to say to myself that yeah, I'm gonna start watching boxing so I can see who's up to date and all that. But I never get around to doing it. I have seen like I was watching Tank Davis, and all those other guys. I was watching them, but my mind was on other things, trying to generate some money so I could survive. And I do go to my son has a boxing gym in Bristol, Pennsylvania. I go over there, be help. I go to like the LA Fitness nearby, and I just got to build back up. I just got to build back up things and stuff. So I've been laying off, laying back, laying cool. I had a podcast that I was doing frequently, and then I just laid off a lot of things, and now I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get my head clear. Right now I feel a little cloudy, but I'm gonna get my head clear and just do exactly what you're doing.
Okay. To finish this, is there any fighter, any heavyweight of that time that you would have liked to fight? Like, for example, would you have liked to fight like Tyson, Holyfield, Bow in those occasions? An example.
that's that's a good question. That not really, not really. I I would have. I just I just was ready for you know, whoever it was, but I wasn't really jealous or I wasn't really like, yeah, I want to fight him. I want to do that. No, I knew I was taught by a really good trainer. Um I had good defense, I had good offense. I knew how to relax. I knew, how to use my jab. A lot of these guys today, they just throwing multiple punches trying to get their opponent out of there. And really, they could just take their time and slip and move, like the art of it. It's like you don't have to throw a whole lot of punches um, to get the job done. You could just think clearly and set your movement up, block the punches, and then take your guy out. Like back in the olden days, you see a lot of those guys doing it now. But a lot of those old trainers, they not here today. Um, and if you didn't get a lot of that knowledge, I think you really. So I was around it, and I know how to relax, and I know how to you're not scared of the guy when you throw a punch, slip, and then you got a lot of guys just keep throwing punches because they don't have a good defense. So you were asking me, what was you asking me?
That okay. I asked you what fighter, what heavyweight of that time you would have liked to fight. You just told me.
Uh, I don't care. I wouldn't care. I wasn't really not. I'm not gonna say jealous, or I wasn't really.
Okay. Just
There was some good there was some good boxers and stuff fighters, but I didn't really care. I didn't really fear. I wasn't jealous of anybody. Let me see. Hold on. Was there anybody that was just like just sneaking in there without getting hard fights? Nah, I was okay.
okay.
Yeah, I was okay. There wasn't nobody that was jealous of, or that's what you're trying to say. Somebody who I really want to fight. Really getting doing real good. Nah, maybe Tommy Morrison.
Okay.
Maybe Tommy Morrison. He threw the good. Me and him was cool, but he threw a good left hook too. Okay, yeah, yeah, yep. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, not really. I was just ready to fight anybody. I didn't care.
Okay. Well, anyway, we can like end it here. So, well, Tim, thank you
You got
for
a couple of more.
accepting.
You want to do a couple of more, or that's it? You don't do one more question, or that's it? Okay,
Okay,
that's it.
you mentioned the trainers that you said that they're not. One more question. You said that
Okay,
they're not like a lot of trainers that they don't teach. They're not like real trainers, like you said, right?
okay. Okay. Okay, you talking about the trainers. Okay. This is really this will be interesting too. I did come up where a lot of those trainers, Georgie Benton, Slim Robinson, Hank Durham, all those guys was in Philly. They was good trainers and stuff. And I happened to be I caught them at the right time too. But my trainer, I caught him at the right time. And everybody respected Slim. He was a good trainer, and a lot of those trainers were pretty good too. And I'm glad I got a piece of that knowledge before a lot of them they passed away. But right now you see a lot of guys um, throwing a multiple punches, but don't relax. See, boxing is an art, and if you just keep throwing a lot of punches, see, you want to see the art of it. Slip it, relax, catch it, boom, boom, right? Step back, boom, boom. Now you got a lot of boxers just throwing a lot of punches because they some of them probably do lack defense, so they throw a lot of punches. And I would like to see a guy just relax, bang bang, slip, wah wah, boom boom boom, not throw multiple punches. Now, if you get a guy out of there by throwing a whole like 25 punches and get him out of there, I think that's cool. But I want to see the art of boxing, not just throwing whole. This I want to see art. I want to see you slip, relax, bang bang, wop wop, bang bang bang, not bang bang, boom bop, bang boom bop bop. You don't see no defense. You see offense, but you don't see defense. You don't see slipping. You don't see like your arms blocking punches with the relax. So a lot of boxers are doing that today. And somebody was telling me that, well, I saw Tank Davis. I saw Tank Davis, and I love that brother too. But he was trying to teach, and he couldn't do it. You know Tank Davis, right?
Yeah.
I love that brother. But he got them knockouts. But they videoed something. Somebody did it, and I seen it, and I said, "Wow, I don't think he can train that good." But he's a good fighter, though. He'll get you out of there, Tank Davis. I like that dude. So that's a lot of boxers too. There's a lot of boxers that that they'll get you out of here. But when you go into that room and try to teach, there's a certain limitation in it. But you can actually go fight if you understand what I'm saying. You can go after the bell ring, get somebody out there. But when you try to teach somebody, that's like a different ball game. When you try to teach them that, yep.
Yes, I can understand. Well, anyway, yeah, we can end it here. So, well, Tim, thank you for accepting. Thank you for
Yes,
being my
yes.
friend. And well, the best of luck. And it was such
Thank
a
you.
great to talk to you, man.
Right. Thank you. I just want to say I love you guys. I love all the people that I was talking about, and I hope that everything is successful for you. And this is my first one back, so I'm gonna start moving on it, and let's keep in touch. All right.
All right, follow me for more content and more interviews with athletes and sports related people, including two-time world heavyweight champion, terrible Tim Witherspoon, who was my guest tonight. So,
Thank.
bye, Tim. Thank you, man.
All right.
Great
Thank
having
you
you.
very much.
Thank
All
you, man.
right.
Right.
All right.